Hello guys, it's Morse. Welcome to this optimization video for Resident Evil 4. So if you're running the game and if you have some issues, especially with the frame rate, crashing and stuff, so I'm gonna explain how to solve those issues and I hope it's gonna help you. So let's start. So if we look at the RE4 recommended specs, the game is like it's a really easy game to run. You don't need like a monster PC in theory to run the game. Like it's super light. So of course you can use a Windows 10. The game recommends Intel Core Duo Core, so it's not that big, 4 gigabytes. That's okay. And for the video cards, it asks you to have at least a 560. I mean, this is like a really medium, even like a really bad computer. I mean, for gaming with that shit, you just get nowhere. Especially like nowadays where the games are super, I would say they are like kind of heavy, I guess. Really power performance demanding. But with this kind of PC, we get nowhere. But yeah, that's the RE4 recommended specs, and that's actually kind of funny because the game is way much more. I would say that well, it needs a good PC to sum it up, basically, and that's kind of sad because some games, even if they are like they have low graphics and they are old games and they are supposed to be running smooth, and you try to run them on a modern computer, and they're gonna run shit because like it's either the game is abnormally like high CPU demanding or the graphic card is not compatible, stuff like crazy stuff like this, where you cannot run old games, and that's actually a problem in a lot of in a lot of scenarios. But for Resident Evil 4, like, so yeah, this game is really optimized, and one of the issues that the game has is that it's really high CPU demanding, and yeah, it uses a really old graphic engine, which is DirectX 9, and basically that was a thing that was being used on Windows XP, so it's not great. It's really not great. So first thing I tried, the reason I'm making this video, I wanted to explain, is because I was having issues myself, like a lot of frame drops, crashed and stuff like this, and I was getting tired of it and was like, god damn, I wish I could just like try to find a solution for this. And I spent basically over a month trying to fix my issues, and what I'm gonna show you guys, I think it's gonna help you. It helped me a lot, and trust me, it's really good. So the first thing I try to do is overclocking my RAM using XMP per file. Doesn't help. Overclocking both CPU and GPU, not helping. Watch out for temperatures using MSI Afterburner. Well, so step 1 and step 2 didn't show any good result for Resident Evil 4, so I don't recommend doing some overclocking. Also, the game, it has a lot of different versions. The most popular one are being the 1.0.6 and the 1.1.0, which is the last one. So both of these versions show the same performance results. And I also tried running the better version, which is the 1.0.2, which is less resource demanding, but it has some quick time problems. I would just recommend you to use 1.1.0. So how do you know how you have the latest version of the game? You go back on the main title screen and you check bottom right 1.1.0. And that's about it. So as a recommended rig for a Resident Evil 4, I recommend you to have at least an i7. Like myself, I have a 7700K, which is a really good CPU. It has 8 physical and 4 virtual cores, so 8 in total. For a graphic card, I recommend you to use a 1060. A 750 watts power supply. I mean, it's really important to have a really good power supply. and 16 gigabytes. So this is like the recommended specs for Resident Evil 4, and basically for any latest games on PC for having a smooth experience. So as I have explained, RE4 is a really high speed demanding, and it's using a lot graphic card, and yeah, a lot of like basically what's making your game kind of lag. It's the particles and some effects like the water, the dust, the explosion, some dying animation, like basically all this kind of stuff, like this small stuff, like the rain, the fog. It's making the game kind of lagging, going slow motions and doing some crazy stuff. And that's why the game is being unoptimized. Unfortunately, you cannot really disable those things, but yeah. So that's why the game is really high CPU demanding, because there are a lot of stuff going on with the game, and it's recommended to have at least an i7. So if you have an i7, you don't need to force an SMT, which is multi-threading, and usually a plus 4 GHz CPU, or if you have at least 8 cores and around 4 GHz CPU, it should be good enough to run the game smoothly. If you're an i7, you can try to force multi-threading on the game by going to the Affinity options. So basically, how you do multi-threading? First, Resident Evil 4, unfortunately, like most all games, doesn't know how to use more than one core. And that's kind of bad because, like, for example, your Windows is using all your available cores, like from 0 to 8. I mean, all your 8 cores you have on your PC, if you have like 8 cores. And the most used one are the core 0 and 1. I'm going to explain that. So you go to Task Manager, Performance. Wait, I'm going to take a drink here. Wait a minute. All better. So you go into Details, bio4.exe. You click on Set Affinity, and then you have this. So basically you want to, so this is by default, and you want to uncheck that and select 2 and 4 if you have an i5. If you have more cores, like if you have 6 cores, 8 cores, what I suggest you to do is select CPU 6, CPU 8, CPU 10 in that order. So why? So basically it is CPU 0, it's your first core that Windows is using the most. It's a physical one. Virtual, physical, virtual, physical, etc. So the reason why I deselected CPU 0 and CPU 1 is because this is a cores that Windows like using for running the system. I mean, for running all your application, all the services, all the stuff that's going on in your background, on your system. That's what Windows is using. But it's not really recommended to use those two main cores when you play video games, because basically it's gonna overbook your cores. So it's better to have your games on your other cores, not on the one that Windows like using, even if in theory, I mean, Windows is using all your available cores. So yeah, you want to select 2, 4, 6, and really important, you want to select, if that possible, your physical cores, because it's more optimized running the game using physical cores than virtual one. I mean, it's logic. Okay, boys. I think that was explained. You can try to also check priority by selecting above normal and high, but don't use real time. I don't think that's all, dude. I mean, priority and affinity, I don't think they really help unless you have a kind of bad PC or not like a modern configuration. But you can try doing that. Okay, now we're gonna try to, I'm gonna show you how to change Windows compatibility mode and disable Windows full screen optimizations. So to do that, you're gonna go into your main hard drive or second hard drive where the game is installed. You're gonna go into Steam Libraries, Steam Apps, Common, Resident Evil 4, Bind32, go into the .exe, click Properties, and you want to go, oh, yeah, this one. You want to go into Compatibility tab, and then you want to run this program in compatibility mode for either Vista 7 or 8. I recommend 8 here, but it's not really, like, this is not really helping, but you can try to do it. I also try to disable full screen optimization. I mean, I think that option checked. In some games, it's actually improved performance a lot, but for Resident Evil 4 in particular, it doesn't help. So, yeah. Okay, so what I did so far is like I introduce Resident Evil 4, how the game, like what kind of reg you need and stuff like this, things I've tried, and things that doesn't really work. But what we're gonna do from this now, it's gonna help you. It's gonna help you a lot. From step 3, really important. So we're gonna clean your drivers using DDU. So first, you want to make sure you have the latest NVIDIA driver or whatever you're using. And sorry, I'm using a QWERTY keyboard. I mean, I'm using an AZERTY keyboard, but my Windows is in English, so sometimes I'm gonna type stuff on my virtual keyboard, and sorry for that. So you go into NVIDIA driver here, go into the main page. Then you can select what you have, GeForce 10 series, for example. I have a 1070. Then you click on search, boom, it's gonna give you a download link where you can actually install the latest drivers for your graphic card. So make sure you do that first. Then you're gonna go into Google again and type DDU. So there you have it. So basically, DDU, it's a program that you're gonna install, and you want to use it in safe mode. So this is how it presents itself. So what DDU is doing, so display driver in installer, it's gonna remove I'm gonna redo it. It's gonna remove all your old graphic drivers that your Windows is storing, it's keeping. And usually you don't want like all your old drivers on your PC, like it's useless. So it's gonna clean all your old drivers, and you're gonna click on that. But first you want to use DDU in safe mode, and also make sure you have installed the latest drivers, because basically this is gonna disinstall all your NVIDIA drivers. So yeah. Make sure you use safe mode first. So we're gonna go into msconfig. You click on boot, safe mode, and you click on minimal, apply OK, and it's gonna ask you to restart your computer in safe mode. And I mean, it's not mandatory to use safe mode, but it's highly recommended to make sure this doesn't, like, if there is an update or something happening in your background on your PC, you don't want that program to be interrupted. Believe me. So that's why we usually recommend to use DDU in safe mode. It's just safer that way. Also, before doing that, guys, make sure you do that. You want, and trust me, to create a restore point, a recovery point. I mean, if any of the manipulation I'm showing and it's fucking up your PC, like you want to create, sorry, that's not the right one. Restore. I mean, it's called recovery, maybe, I don't know. Well, you want to create a restore point. Yeah, this one, I think. Yeah, this one. So you want to create a restore point here before doing any maneuver, right? Maneuver. in case you fucked up your PC. Okay, let's keep going. And I'm French. If you hear on French accents, it's normal. But I'm trying my best to explain all this shit like the smoothest possible, the easiest way possible. So now, okay. So when you have run, like use safe mode, run DDU, and start installing the fresh drivers on NVIDIA, it's gonna ask you to do some. I'm not gonna do it, but basically it's gonna ask you if you want to install GeForce Experience and some additional 3D audio and visual effect. I try to not select them and also not use GeForce Experience because in fact GeForce Experience actually affect performance, but it's not really the case for Resident Evil 4, so you can keep those. Okay. Step 4 is probably the most important thing that you have to do, one of the most important thing. So in your PC, you have two sort of RAM, the virtual RAM, which Windows is using, and the physical RAM. For some application, for example, like let's say Overwatch, it's gonna be using virtual and physical RAM. Like basically, if my physical RAM is being overbooked, like Windows is gonna back up my physical RAM to help me run that program, right? So this is how virtual memory works. It's like a space. So how is it? It's like a space on your hard drives, but Windows is like it's keeping for itself, right? So you need like the space necessary on your hard drives to create like a virtual memory. So yeah, you need the space for it, and you want to make sure like on your main hard drives, you have the space recommended for it, right? Free space. Make sure you have enough. Okay. So how to do this, and I'm gonna show you what to put. So you're going to control panel here. You're going to system, change settings. Then you're going to advanced one. First, we're gonna do this real quick. Performance settings. You want to adjust for best performance. I also recommend you to just select what I did. So this is gonna improve your system responsiveness. Sorry. Okay, now you go into advanced programs, change your paging file. So a paging file, it's an area on your hard drive that Windows uses as if it were RAM. And thing is, a lot of applications on your system it's like how to say that a lot of application require some virtual memory especially in case your physical one is being overbooked. And sometimes some games are really unoptimized, especially some Steam games, and they are using a lot of virtual memory. Even in fact they shouldn't need it, but yeah, some games like using virtual memory, and it's actually the case for Resident Evil 4. So you want to change that. So let's keep it simple, right? You want to uncheck automatical paging file. You want to click on custom size. And if you have 16 gigabytes, you want to put 24,026. Up. You click on set, OK, and apply. OK. Now, if you want to learn the explanation, like if you have 8 gigabytes, I'm going to show you to do this. I'm going to explain. But basically, that was the fast way of explaining stuff. So, let's say you have... okay, I'm going to take a water. Yeah, I need to hydrate myself because I'm talking a lot. So let's say you have 16 gigabytes. So in megabytes, it gives 16,000, right? Thing is, it's not really the case, It's not the right value because in fact, 1 gigabyte, it's 1024 megabytes. But we should say mu. Like this is the real maths right there. So real maths, so how you want to calculate your paging file, it's 20 1024 multiplied by the number of RAM you have multiplied by 1.5. So it's 1024 multiplied by 16 multiplied by 1.5, sorry, which gives around 24,576. So that's the real math, but you don't need to be that accurate, boys. Like, just multiply this by 1.5 and it gives 24. As the maximum value, you want to add 2000 from the initial one, so that gives 26. You can try to put 32 because basically the maximum value, it's multiplied by 2 your initial size. So it's 16 multiplied by 2, which give 32. But I recommend to use those values if you have a 16 gigabytes. Okay, let's say, yeah, so this is how I did it. When you do that, your system is going to ask you to restart your PC to apply changes, and you click on yes. Okay, let's say you have 8 gigabytes on your system. So you multiply 8 gigabytes, which is like 8,000 by 1.5, it gave 12,000 megabytes. Then you add an extra 2,000 and it gives 14,000. And as a maximum, you put 16,000 megabyte max. And if you need like more information about this stuff, I mean, I hope it wasn't that much confusing for you guys. I try to keep it that simple. You can click on that link and you're gonna learn a lot of stuff on virtual memory, especially if you're the kind of guy like me that likes having a reactive Windows and like to having always program running smooth and stuff like this. Like, basically you're the kind of guy that likes seeking performance. And yeah, just like read this, it's really important. Okay, now we're gonna check real quick power supply optimization. It's helping. So we're gonna go into control panel, then go into power options. You want to click high performance, change plan settings, change advanced power settings. So turn off hard drive, you put 0. You want to go into USB settings, USB selective suspend settings, and you want to click on disabled. Okay. Then you want to go into your processor power management. That one is really important. Make sure it's 100% for the minimum processor state. Cooling, you want to have it active, and maximum processor state, you want to give it 100%. Okay. Then you close that. You click OK. You close, and that is done. Okay. So next thing. NVIDIA. Okay, NVIDIA control panel. There are a lot of stuff to explain here. So you want to click on NVIDIA control panel here. And so basically, first you want to disable VSync on global settings here. Yeah, you click on manage 3D settings. First you uncheck, you click off for virtual sync on global settings. Then you go into program settings, you select, you had Resident Evil 4 if you can find it, you know. You click on OK, and then you're gonna have a bunch of settings here. So I've tried to check a lot of stuff here, but okay, trust me. So there are two things that matters, you know, that affect stability, performance, and input lag. Really important. 100%. You want to disable a vertical sync. This is really important, especially if you're running the game. Disable vertical sync. Super important shit to do. And you click on apply. Second thing that you can try and actually help you to improve performance, it's going to quality and check for high performance. That can help you, especially if you have a kind of medium PC, not a really good PC. Also, if your PC is not really good, you can, like for virtual reality pre-render frames, you can click on 1. If you have a really bad PC, you're going to click on 2 or 3. And you can do the same for, I believe, there is another option here. Yeah. No, not this one. Yeah, maximum pre-rendered frames, you can click on that, on 1. But the most important thing here, it's virtual sync. And yeah, virtual sync and performance, I guess. Okay, then you click on apply and close. Also, you want to go into explore.exe, you click on documents, your games, my games, Capcom, Resident Evil 4, you click on config.ini. Okay, so for the resolution here, like if you have a bad PC, you can put your game in 720p, which is like 1280 by 720. But like if your PC is good enough, you should play this game in 1080p. Also, you cannot want to deactivate VSync here too. I mean, this doesn't really matter here because the most important thing is actually the fact of disabling the VSync in the NVIDIA control panel, right? Also, you want to run the game in full screen. It's really important. So anti-aliasing, you put 0. Anisotropy. So basically, you can keep it 16, but if you don't have a very good PC, I suggest you to put 4 or 0. Shadow quality, you want to remove that. Use HD texture, you put 0. Motion blur, you disable that shit. Variable frame rate, you want to keep 60. And that's about it, boys. That's about it. And yeah, it's gonna be a long video, but I guess. Okay, boys. Yeah, I've explained everything here. Okay, now those are gonna be like trying to clean up your system, because if you have a messy system, like some people, some runners are having issues with the game because basically they don't have a really good PC or their Windows is not optimized. So you want to use applications like CC Cleaner to clean your unwanted files, dump files, temp files, fix your register. Okay, I have CC Cleaner. I can show you that program, I guess. I mean, it's a really common program, but that shit actually help a lot. So basically, you want to analyze. You click on yes. So basically, it's gonna do like, it's gonna make a small report here, and you click on Run Cleaner. So it's gonna remove all your unwanted files, your dump files. You want to go into Register, scan for issues. Like it's gonna basically check for all the issues. So basically, fix selected issues. I click yes. It also asks you to create a restore point, but I mean for the Regedit, whatever. So this is how you use this, and it's really good. It's really good. Okay, you can use Crystal Disk Info. Basically, it's checking your iDrive ALF statue. I think I have it here. I can show it to you real quick. So yeah, I have 2 main hard drives here. You can see those. So it say 100% correct. It also gives me the temperature. And yeah, it's going all good. Like basically, it's gonna check all your different array on your drive and see if anything is okay. Any array on your disk is actually not damaged, not being damaged. Okay. Also, you want to use MSI Afterburner. Like, it's kind of important. Like, if you're a gamer and you're playing video games on PC, I highly recommend using this. It's giving you your this is GPU temperature, but you can see your bottom over temperatures. Yeah, your CPU temperature. Also, I think you have your CPU one. I don't remember, but yeah, you have all your CPU temperatures and stuff like this. So basically, you want to make sure it's under. I mean, when you're playing games, usually it goes up to 60 or 70. Try to not have higher than 70. That's the recommended. Okay. Oh, and how do you want to increase your temperature? So I use MSI Afterburner to do some overclocking. I mean, I try to do this for RE4, but it doesn't really matter. But basically, you want to click on Auto, and you want to select, and then select any value, and click on OK. Basically, it's gonna run your fan at an higher speed. So yeah, it's gonna be like less temperature. But myself, I like to keep it auto. I mean, and you click on apply, and that's fine. And make sure your temperature are good enough. You can also try to use SpeedFan. If I have it, this one is really good too. And basically it's gonna give all your temperatures and check your if everything is good here. So you can see there's an increasing here. I mean, this temperature for the GPU, this temperature is kind of okay. It's also give me what kind of CPU I have, the frequency and stuff like this. And yeah, don't just read the information, but don't do anything. Yeah, like you can mess up your PC if you try to change like the clock and stuff like this. But yeah, okay. You can also, like, if you have some problem with your drivers, you can reformat your PC, but usually you can try to use Driver Booster or Driver Cloud to search for any missing drivers, okay? So those are the kind of stuff you can try to optimize your Windows, and even more stuff than this, okay. So if you want to do more, you can try to copy paste out those links. Okay, I need to take a bunch of water here. So I suggest you to click on those links and just listen to the video, because like basically the guy is gonna explain you how to optimize your Windows, and it's really important. Okay. You can also try, like, if your game is really broken, like your audio is desync, your game is in slow motion, like you have a lot of crash, the frame rate is going insane. You can reinstall your game and delete it and install in main hard drives if possible. Also, if you have any old Windows, I suggest you to disable unwriting services. So you go into services.msc. Nice. And you want to search for unwriting services. If I find it though, because there are lots of stuff here. I don't remember the exact name though. But I think I have deactivated it. Okay. Yeah, it is in French. But usually it says unwriting services, and you want to disable that, especially if you have old Windows, because this is causing the game to crash sometimes. Okay. And you apply, like, this is gonna fix your crash a bit. So you're gonna apply a 4 GB patch. So you go into RE4 project HD download file. I have it somewhere. So you click on that link. Also, if you want to play and try the RE4 HD texture, yeah, sure, why not? You go into the troubleshoot page here, and then you're gonna download this link. So basically, I think it's pretty much explained here, but basically you're gonna, like, once do I need to show it to you guys? I think I have it somewhere though. The 4 GB patch, yeah, there is it. So you're gonna launch it, and basically you're gonna select your game, and you're gonna click on open and then apply, and that's it. That's the only thing you need to do. And yeah, okay. Also, if you're streaming on Twitch, I recommend you to not stream at 60 FPS. That's really important. Like, believe me, don't do it. Like, if you're running the game, play at 30 FPS. It's more optimized that way. Also, use the NVIDIA graphic encoder instead of your CPU. I cannot really show it to you, but basically there's an option that allows you to change the encoder for your stream, and it's better to use the NVIDIA one. Also, don't use Windows Capture Mode, use Game Capture. Okay. XSplit or OBS are kind of the same, even though OBS is less resource demanding. Also, to free up more RAM, you could use Chatty. It's a Twitch application instead of regular chat like using Firefox or Chrome. Okay, config.ini default values doesn't affect performance at all if you have a decent PC. So this is the thing I show you to you. Like, that was a .config.ini I showed previously. There is another one, input.ini, like something that you have to know. And if you want to change your button on your PC and on your button on the controller, ask an RE4 runner to help you for that. But basically, incorrect values can cause the game to crash or not work as intended. So yeah, watch out for incorrect values in the .ini, okay? Changing resolution doesn't affect performance, even if you have a decent PC, okay? Unless you have, unless you have a really bad PC, let's say. But yeah, let's keep it 1080p. Also, try avoiding using 3.0 port to play the game. It's usually better to play on 2.0, and it should be good enough. Okay, number 12. Don't do it, boys. So I tried updating the BIOS, but it doesn't affect performance in my case. Also, it's a risky maneuver, so I don't really recommend doing it, but it can improve your system, your CPU usage. Okay, disabling Windows antivirus or firewall doesn't affect the game that much. 13. Disable hibernation. That's really important, especially for paging file. Like if you're like, oh damn, I don't have like 24,000 megabytes. I don't have 24 gigabytes of free space on my main hard drive. Oh fuck. Can I undo it? Okay, I need to close it and reopen it. So, yeah, you want to just copy pasta this shit, okay? So that should free up some space on your main hard drives, and it's very important for your virtual memory management. Make sure you have space. So you go into command prompt. You click on execute as administrator. You click on pasting. Oh fuck. And you click on enter. So this is gonna disable hibernation mode, and it's gonna free up some space. It's really important to do this. Okay, and I think that's it, guys. I think I pretty much explained everything that you need to know about the game. Yeah, real quick, I'm gonna show you like the graphic options. As I told you, most of the graphic options are into the NVIDIA control panel or the game file. But yeah, so you want 1080p, full screen on, frame rate 60 FPS. You want to set that off. Texture quality original, it's better, and that's it. Okay, you don't need that much. I'm gonna close the game. I don't need to have a RE4 on the background anymore. And yeah, that's about it. Follow those Windows 10 tutorial. This is really important, guys. So by doing that, you should avoid the lags in Waterfall, Village at Night, some random stutter step lag like I had, and crashes. So that should improve stuff. So conclusion, in a nutshell, the main points here: paging file, setting up your virtual memory, don't use your Windows default values, disable VSync, really important, optimize your Windows 10, stream at 30 FPS if you stream, clean up your drivers, search for any drivers, use application like CC Cleaner, stuff like this, and eventually reinstall your game. And that's it. That was the RE4 optimization tutorial. I hope you like it. And so basically, the reason I made this video is because I had a lot of issues with the game, and I need to show you guys.
Connect to the
So this is my VOD. Yeah. So this is the kind of lag I had recently. So by changing the paging file, I could fix I fixed the issue I had with the game by changing the paging file. Like, for me, it solved the issue. Look at this. So basically, I was getting lag every 20 minutes for a month. And I spent over a month trying to fix the issues.
I literally lost 1 second so far. Another one.
So yeah, my game was lagging a lot. And believe me, guys, I have a really good PC. I mean, my PC is not like, it's not a beast, but it's a small beast, you know? It's a small beast. And usually I run any of the games smoothly without dropping a fucking frame. But Resident Evil 4 was dropping a lot of frame even with my beast PC. And that's why I'm making this tutorial, because unfortunately, guys, having a fine computer, it's not enough for Resident Evil 4. And that's why you need to do some stuff before running the game. And that's it, guys. This is gonna be a long video. I hope you enjoy it. Into the YouTube section, if you have any question at all, just ask me in the chat. I will just answer them. I hope it helped you guys, and yeah, see you soon.